Hey there! You're listening to Amplify Your Legacy. This podcast is packed with insights and strategies to turn your passion into something that endures for generations. So get comfortable, stay inspired, and let's jump into today's episode with your host, Sallana Brown. Welcome back to the show, the Amplify Your Legacy podcast. Today we're covering a topic that's so important, yet often overlooked: bone health. If you're a woman in your 50s, your 60s, or beyond, you might have heard the word osteoporosis or low bone mass from your doctor. Maybe you've been told that it's just a part of aging. What if I tell you that there's so much you can do to keep your bones strong and healthy naturally? My guest today, Susan Brady, is an expert in holistic bone health. She's a business owner, a physical therapist, integrative health and nutrition practitioner, and the creator of Bones Method, a comprehensive approach that helps women build strength from the inside out. And I want to thank Susan for her passion about the gut bone health connection and how digestion, nutrition, and movement and mindset all play a role in bone health. So I want to welcome you to the show, and thanks for being here.
Thank you, Sallana. I'm very excited to be here today, and I look forward to speaking with you.
I know you work with so many women who feel overwhelmed and even fearful when it comes to a diagnosis of osteoporosis. Can you tell us a little bit more about yourself and what you're doing right now to help women?
So I am a physical therapist of 35 years, and I got into integrative medicine in the early 2000s. And it was interesting the way I got into it. I had a patient very early on in my career with rheumatoid arthritis. So she had swelling and pain in her joints. And with physical therapy, I could give her temporary relief, but really wasn't changing her symptoms in the long run. And she stopped coming to see me. And one day I saw her in the hallway of the doctor's office and I asked her how she was. And she said, "I'm great. I stopped eating sugar and eating bread and all of my symptoms went away." And that was the aha moment for me, thinking, okay, physical pain isn't just about, exercise and rehab. What we eat also affects us physically. And you have to remember, this was 35 years ago when we really didn't think of food as being part of how we felt every single day. So I went on and got a degree in integrative medicine and integrative health and nutrition, and I hung my shingle out, and I was inundated with women with osteoporosis. And I had seen a lot of women with osteoporosis in physical therapy, but really had not been taught a lot about it in school. So I dove into all the research that was out there, and that's when I came up with my Bones Method for working with women with osteoporosis. And Bones is an acronym: B, balanced nutrition; O, optimized digestion; N, nurture the soul through quality sleep and stress resilience; E, essential exercise; and S, supplementation. And that is the lens that I both evaluate my patients with as well as treat them with, because not everybody's starting at the same place. Some people may need more help with nutrition. Other people may need more help with exercise. But, I look at all of those different aspects of a woman's health, and then from there we move forward. So it's a very comprehensive approach to building strong, healthy bones. And most women are told by their doctors, oh, just, take calcium and some vitamin D and walk 30 minutes a day and, have your Greek yogurt and drink a glass of milk and you're going to be fine. But your bones need over 20 different nutrients, and it's not just about calcium and vitamin D. It's about magnesium and especially vitamin K2, which is this vitamin that actually takes the calcium out of the blood and puts it into the bones to make them strong, and boron, and so many of these different nutrients are needed for strong bones. So And, you know, I also feel like so many women, when they have a DEXA scan done, which is usually in their 50s at some point, and they find out that they have osteoporosis, and all that doctors have to offer them is medication. And these women, you know, and they're told if they don't take these medications, they're going to fall and break a bone and they're going to be in a wheelchair for the rest of their life. And so then the women go back to Dr. Google and look up these medications, and a lot of them have significant side effects. And that's when they say, wait a minute, is there a different way that I can approach that? And then, so that's where they find me, and we start working together for a more natural approach to helping them stay strong.
I love the holistic approach because so many people do think of bone health as just taking calcium supplements and hoping for the best. But your approach is so comprehensive. It's a refreshing way to look at bone health. And I like what the N stand for, nurturing, because stress, emotions, and even mindset plays a huge role in our health, right? So, and I
Sure
imagine
does.
that you didn't just stumble upon this approach overnight. What led you down this path? And what's the defining moment in your career or life that made you realize that there's a better way to help women with osteoporosis?
Um, uh, so it's interesting that you say that, or ask me that question, because one of the very first women that I worked with, she worked in the Capitol. She worked for one of the congressmen, and the reason why I say the Capitol is because they're marble floors and they're hard marble floors. And she was walking down the hallway in the Capitol, and all of a sudden her leg just broke. It just broke out of nowhere. And so I actually rehabilitated her in physical therapy. But here's the thing. She had been diagnosed with osteoporosis 10 years prior and had been put on a bone building medication. And one of the side effects that we know of this particular medication is what we call atypical femur fractures. And so at some point, maybe the medications will work for a year or two, but then after that, they become, you know, more detrimental than they are beneficial. And so what she experienced was this atypical femur fracture. So we rehabbed her, she got off the medications, we gave her, you know, diet, everything we talked about, and sent her on her way. 3 months later, she's walking down the hallway of the Capitol. Her other leg breaks.
Oh, no.
So this was the aha moment to me, that these medications that we're putting women on aren't the be all and end all for bone health. And yes, there are women that need to be on these medications. There's no doubt. But in so many doctors, the way they're trained is you have this disease, you write this prescription, right? For whatever disease fits. And I think that that's not necessarily, you know, there's so much more to health than taking a medication. And there's so much more that we can do for people with diet and lifestyle and exercise. And
That's
so
so
I do think that was, yeah, that was truly the aha moment, that, you know, there's got to be a better way.
Yes, I totally agree. And that's really powerful. It's amazing how all of our experiences and those discoveries often lead to us helping others in the most meaningful way. And I know your work isn't just about treating osteoporosis. It's really about helping women feel strong, vibrant, and in control of their health. Let's
Mm-hmm.
talk about the big picture for a second. You're not just teaching women how to strengthen their bones. You're helping them to build a legacy of health. They can live actively, confidently, and independently for years to come, especially as we age. And what other
Yes.
ways are you intentionally building your legacy right now?
So I just want to backtrack, because you can't build your legacy if you're not healthy, right? So giving women the gift of health will then empower them to build their legacy as well. But in terms of building my legacy, is one of the aspects of my bones method is optimizing digestion. And I've been doing this for over 16 years now. And what I'm, just in terms of the osteoporosis, and what I'm finding is that your digestive tract and your gut health affects every aspect of your health. And I think we're becoming very aware of, people hear about the gut microbiome all the time, and we're hearing the gut-brain connection and how the gut and the brain literally talk to each other. And, you need a healthy gut to have a healthy brain, and vice versa. Well, I also am a true believer that there is a gut-bone connection. And it's interesting because I subscribe to PubMed, and they send me all the latest research, for my keywords every week. And every Sunday when I look at my email, I have 5 or 6 new studies on how the gut affects our bone health. And to me, this is the missing piece. People know we need exercise, we need, a healthy diet. We need stress resilience. We need to do our meditation and our deep breathing. We need quality sleep. But what people, what they don't need is we also need a healthy gut, because you could eat the most nutritious diet, right? All those bone building foods. But if you can't digest and absorb those nutrients into the body because you have an unhealthy gut, they're not getting to any organ in your body or any cell in your body, let alone your bone cells. So I'm in the process of writing my book, The Gut-Bone Connection, and I hope that to be my legacy, to really let women know that it goes so far, it's far beyond, again, just taking calcium and vitamin D to help their bones.
That's incredible. I love it. And I can't wait to read it. I know so many, I know so many women are listening right now and want to take action today. So what's one simple, practical step that they can take right now to start strengthening their bones? You said gut health.
Mm-hmm. Well, gut health's important. I would start with nutrition.
Okay.
Leafy greens. Leafy greens have the most nutrient density of any food out there, and so many of the nutrients that we need to build strong bones, from the calcium to the magnesium to the boron. So get, a cup or 2 cups of leafy greens every day. And the second thing I would say is, you've got to do resistive exercises. Now, whether that's, body weight exercises like lunges or planks or squats, or, working with a resistance band, doing rows, or going to the gym and lifting weights. I see osteoporosis not as a disease of the skeletal system. It is a musculoskeletal disease, and your muscles are just as important as your bones are. And as your muscles get stronger, your bones are going to get stronger. Your bones follow your muscles. So, really carving out, even if it's just a half an hour 3 times a week, to do some kind of resistance training is really, really important as well. And then for the gut, the absolute most important thing you can do for the gut is eat a variety of plant foods. Every one of those plant foods have different fibers, and the gut bacteria feed off of these fibers. So if you're only eating broccoli every day, you're only feeding the gut bacteria that eat the broccoli fibers. And not only do we have trillions of bacteria in our gut, we have a huge diversity. And diversity is actually the most important thing when it comes to gut health. So eating a diverse plant food diet with lots of fibers is going to feed that diversity of your gut microbiome. And that's probably too much, more than what people want to know.
That's perfect. We need it all. And all of your tips are going to help us. And I bet if listeners start today, they'll feel the difference sooner than they think.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Definitely.
Susan, this has been a wonderful, eye-opening conversation. And I know a lot of women listening will walk away with a new sense of hope and control over their bone health. So I want you to share where our listeners can find out more about you and all that you're doing.
So I think the best place to find out more about me is at my website, nurturedbones.com. And there you can actually sign up for a free 20 minutes consult with me where we'll talk about your health needs and whether I'm the right person to lead you down that path. And then on my website is just many blog articles and information about bone health, as well as I believe it's still up there, a free webinar on the gut-bone connection. So I think that would be the best place for somebody to start.
Do you have any other practical tips or experiences that you want to share?
No, but I just want people to know that, so many times we don't think about our bones. They lie deep inside, and we all know that old adage, out of mind, out of sight. But your bones are your foundation. Mm-hmm. And the truth is that bone health starts in our adolescent years. So, it's bone health isn't about being a 70-year-old woman, okay? It starts when we're younger, and we need to take steps to keep our bones strong and healthy at every stage of life. And here's the cool thing is I don't see bones as a separate entity in the body. Every organ and cell in the body communicates and interacts with every other organ. And anything you do to strengthen your bones is going to strengthen your body as a whole and is going to make the entire body healthier. So, I just want people to be aware of the fact that you can't take your bones for granted.
I love that. Thank you so much for being here, Susan, and sharing your wisdom. To our listeners, if today's episode resonated with you, take that first step. Maybe it's tweaking your diet, adding movement to your routine, or just shifting your mindset about aging. Your bones support you every day. Now it's time to support them back. Until next time, stay strong and take care.
That's all for this episode of Amplify Your Legacy. A huge thank you for listening in today. I hope today's conversation has sparked some reflection on your own legacy. Let's keep the conversation going. Connect with me on LinkedIn or Instagram at Sallana Brown. And visit sallanabrown.com for more resources on growing and preserving your legacy. Be sure to leave a rating or review. It helps others discover the show. And don't forget to subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss out on future episodes packed with inspiration and actionable strategies. Until next time, keep amplifying your legacy.